Yo, what up, friends? Today I've come to talk to you about something that I've been experimenting with on stream, and I've been researching a lot and have noticed that there is an untapped market that can provide a lot of divines if you choose to interact with it. Today, I want to talk to you about Crucible, the mechanic, what you're looking for, how to search what you're looking for, and different things around the Crucible mechanic that you may or may not know that could provide you with a lot of opportunity to make a lot of really good money. Now, if you're proficient in Crucible, or you hate the mechanic, or you're already doing it, or you're throwing trees together, this probably isn't for you. But for the player that's just blasting maps, looking at the mechanic, ignoring it altogether, and doesn't know what to do with it, this might be a little bit of an insightful video to just help you kind of get started. Now, as a lot of you guys know, Crucible itself isn't the worst thing in the world. A lot of you guys hate it. A lot of you guys like it. There's a lot of like mixed results about it. And Crucible, I'm just going to show you exactly what I have been doing. Hint and spoiler, as you guys can see, I have a lot of scepters. And we'll get to the scepters and what they're worth and what you're looking for and how to handle them and all that fun jazz that comes with the scepter. Now, I'm not going to run the whole map here. I'm just going to go over this step by step to show you what I'm talking about in how it interacts with things. I'm also like slightly showing off the build guide that's going to be coming for Spectral Shield Throw later down the line, but I'm working on a few more things before I put the video for that together. Now, if we clear around our Crucible, you'll notice that it's... Can we go away? Thank you. You'll notice that it's showing us 3 scepters. It's showing us our weapon, our shield, and the thing in our inventory. Now, what we want to do is we want to get this thing charged up to about 50%. The more, the better. And we want to just unveil the Crucible tree. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to get this to 100%. We're going to spawn the mobs. We're going to blow them up almost immediately. And you'll notice the light in the Crucible has gone out. The encounter is over. And we have a wonderful Crucible tree here. Now, this tree is not too bad. It sells for 15 awakened sextants. If I would have split it, that'd be 30, but we'll talk about that in a few. So we revealed our first scepter. We're just going to do the exact same thing again. And there's a method to my madness. I promise I'll explain everything. So we're going to, we're going to open up another sept. We're going to open up another map. We're going to blitz the map, and we're going to look for our Crucible. Now, I've been doing this pretty much exclusively the last couple of days on stream, and it has net me a large amount of profit. And I mean by large, I mean I've gotten like 30-ish kind of divines for just kind of like messing around with the mechanic, identifying different trees, looking for different stuff, and really trying to get a good grasp on it. And when I found out a lot of the information about what things are worth and how the pricing works, it completely blew my mind, and I knew I had to bring this to your attention. Now, this concept that I'll show you will work for scepters, it'll work for bows, and it'll work for a whole wide variety of things. And I'll provide you guys with a lot of the resources to really get you rolling. So now you see we've cleared it. This one's 20 chaos orbs. I actually don't want to slam this tree into this, so we're gonna actually do one more really quick. There's a reason why I don't want to slam this tree into this, because this is a good donor base, or this is a good base. And I promise if you just bear with me a second, it all makes sense. Now, I know there's somebody watching at this point and be like, yo, bro, you could have just like prepared all this or like skipped ahead. But if I like prepare it all and I don't show you guys how to do it, then it doesn't work. You'll notice here too, really quick. So we have our 3, this one has a tree on it, but if I move these, it takes the leftmost. It'll see the leftmost weapon in your inventory. Now, if this one rolls a bad tree as well, it doesn't matter, we're gonna slam, and we're just gonna kind of go from there. So we proc the Crucible, we get our mobs, we kill our mobs, the light goes out, we go to town. Ah, perfect. Oh, it sells for Crystaline Geode, no way! We can't use this one. This is one of those ones that like, this node, just selling this node is like a divine, or almost a divine. We'll touch on that in a minute. I actually prepared one, but anyways, that's really cool. All right, one more. Just like that, chat. Just like that, we unveil a tree. We make a divine like 150, 200 C on the tree. And it's okay. I guess there's like fizz reflect on this. But anyways, that was really cool. Oh, dude, that's so hype. Welcome to Crucible. Crucible is a really solid mechanic, and I think it's just an extremely late bloomer in terms of its power level and what you can and can't do with it. And I agree, sitting here, charging it up, holding this button is not the most interactive gameplay, not the best gameplay. I definitely wish there was a faster way to skip this part of it, but all in all, Crucible itself is not too terrible. Okay, so we've spent a few minutes, roughly 5 minutes into this video. We've unveiled a bunch of trees. We've made roughly a divine, and we have another tree. This one's fine. Okay, cool. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to open up a geode or a remnant. We're going to double check to make sure it doesn't corrupt our item. We're going to open this, and now we're going to interact with a mechanic. Now, a lot of builds have a trouble killing these mobs. These mobs don't spawn very fast. You can actually run past all these mobs, which is quite wonderful. So if you have a build that can't kill these mobs very well, but you have a build that can unveil trees, you can also continue doing the strategy because you just blitz past everything. Now, I can kill all the mobs in here. I still don't bother. And my main goal is to use the Forge of the Titans. What we're going to do in the Forge of the Titans is we're going to take this Crucible tree and slam it into this Crucible tree. Now, you'll notice right away, if we look at this one, we see the nodes are going upwards versus downwards. So these go up, these go down. And you'll notice that we have row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. Row 4 here has 3 nodes, and row 4 here has 3 nodes. The goal of what I'm attempting to do is I want to line up the nodes in row 3, or in row 4 with the row 4 nodes here. So I'm going to take this. This is my donor base. So the item you want to be destroyed goes on top, and the item you want to keep goes on bottom. And I'm going to attempt to overlap the nodes on row 4 with the nodes on row 4 here in hopes that we get a mutation. So we can see that our whole tree just got borked. Welcome to Crucible. But this is what we were looking for. We were looking for a node to mutate into another, and there's a very specific reason that we want this. So now this tree is not what we want. We come here, we clear the tree off, and then we go do it again. This way we keep our 86 base. And we're going to talk about the 86 base right now. So what was I doing there, and why was I attempting to farm a node and get a node to turn into another node? Well, I was looking for something very, 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 very specific. And I was hoping to mutate a node into another node. Essentially what that means is when you overlap nodes, they have a chance to alter and change or mutate into another node. We saw it on the scepter that we just had. We mutated into a geode. And essentially what I was trying to do is I was attempting to mutate my node into the rampage node. Now you'll see here on the POE trade website, I'm looking at an item. It's 350 divines. It's already crafted. It's mirrored. It's split. Another 200 divines, kind of like crafted up claws, split. It's done. 190. And the reason why these are so expensive is because of the rampage node. Now, when you're saying to me the rampage nodes, what do you mean? So if I take a node on node 4 and crucible it together and it mutates and it, by any chance ever, it turns into the rampage node, on a split base bow, that node is worth 24 divines. 24 divines, 25 divines, 30 divines. And these are all on split bases. So an unsplit base, 50 divines just for the rampage node. Now, this is on bows. Bows are very common in this league. Everybody's playing a bow build. Everybody's crucibling bows. Everybody likes bows. But if I were to change this and just put scepter and hit search, the only options that we get are the TFT scepter held by Genevu, and that one's 1 mirror. This one's 340. This one's 350. And if I search by any and I look for offline scepters with rampage, there are none. There are literally none. There is a cold-based spectral shield throw scepter that does exist. It is out there. It is available to buy. I've spoken with the owner. Their owner wants 1 mirror, 100 divines for this scepter. And this scepter, just like all the other ones, has the rampage node on it. Now, the reason I bring this up is there's a ton of bows. All the bows exist and the bows are cheap, but the scepter base with rampage is worth about a mirror if you can get it. It's probably gonna be worth like 150, 200 divines. But if you're not doing anything and you're trying to make a buck and you just want to slam some stuff together and interact with the mechanic, maybe you get lucky. Maybe you hit rampage. Now, it's not just the rampage node that's worth a fortune. There are a lot of nodes that I have found out on scepters that are worth a lot, and I mean a lot of currency. And I've got some tabs pulled up to show you. Now, if we look at scepters here, oh, these are Crystaline Geodes. I just wanted to show you guys the Crystaline Geodes really quick. They're like 150C split, but we'll touch on that in a second. Now, if I look at scepters and we look at crit chance and global crit strike multi, this is node 2 on a scepter, and I start going down. This one's 100C. If this guy answers, that'd be crazy. I highly doubt this guy's gonna answer. This one's 1 divine. This one's 1 divine, and these are on uniques. Now, if we start getting into blues and rares, which is what you would use the Crucible craft, this one's 1.5, this one's 2, this one's 2, this one's 2. And you'll notice that node 2, which is what I'm using on the Spectral Shield throw, is roughly worth 2 divines. Node 3 is not worth as much, node 4 is not worth as much, but node 2 is roughly about 2 divines. And I've found node 2 plenty of times slamming scepters together, and it sells, and it sells fast. Now, if we were to change it up a little bit, and I were to look at node 1, which is fizz converted to cold, this one's 10C, this one's 50C. If this guy answered, that would be a miracle. And if I start going down and I get past the ones that I don't think will answer, that are on unique bases, and I start going down into the rare bases, node 1 starts at 5 divines. And it goes up to 8, and then 20. And nobody is making these scepters, and nobody is crafting these scepters. So everybody who's trying to play Spectral Shield throw, which there's a lot of us, have to struggle to put our scepters together. Now, I'm not saying this because I want my scepter to sell, and I'm not saying this because I want to make my scepter. I have my scepter, and I did this weeks ago, but I'm bringing it up because I've been hunting Rampage, and I've noticed all these other nodes are a fortune, and it doesn't take me very long to put these together and try to sell them, and it shouldn't take you guys very long to put them together and try to sell them. Now, a lot of you guys will know from my blight videos, I collect a bunch of I-86 bases from doing blight, and I sell them at 5C a piece non-stop all day. And you guys can do the same. Now, something that's really cool is if you manage to unveil a scepter that has the Crystaline Geode or the Divine one or any of these nodes that are really cool. So like if I did this scepter and it had node 1 on it or node 2 on it, or like even this Chaos Orb one, I can go to my menagerie and I'll have a link to this beast in the description so you guys can look it up. And I type the word split, there's a beast that'll make a copy of it. Now, when I make a copy of it, it'll literally give me the tree on both items. And that allows me to take these items that are multiple divines, or these trees that are multiple divines, split them and sell them. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, you're looking for like 5 nodes out of like infinite. And you're right. There's a lot of nodes that are pretty bad, and there's a lot of nodes that are really good. And now if you were just doing bows, if you were doing scepters, and you were doing any of them, and you just identify a bunch of scepters and a bunch of bows, and you don't know what to do, you throw them in a 50C, 60C, 70C, 100C dump tab, and people will buy your nodes, and people will buy your trees because they're slamming. The hard part about Crucible, and the really crummy part, is you want, if a node is going up on your tree, you need a node going up to match. If a node is going down, you need a node to match, and that's a little rough. Now, the split beast I had mentioned, if I search for it, you're going to see a bunch of crazy people selling them for Awakened Sextants. Yeah, we just ignore those guys. We scroll down the buyout price, we hit Chaos Orbs, we hit search, and it cost me about 6870C to buy that. So we know this is about 150. So 150 minus 70 is 80. We split it. So 150 plus 80 is like a divine. So we make like a divine. Roughly, it's like 210. And that's that. So I'll have this link to this beast in the description. I'll also be doing a video in the next couple of days on how to farm your own beast. TLDR, white maps. Just farm beast and white maps. And you can really kind of go in. Now, if you're saying, well, I don't want to farm bows, I don't want to do scepters, I want to see all the other mods that are very valuable, what's a good way to search for those? The best way that I've learned to look for Crucible trees is to go on the TFT website. Now, I don't want to hear it. It's just a good resource. Don't yell at me. I don't think there's anything wrong with using it for research abilities or purposes. Now, if I go on the TFT website and I look at League items Crucible, I can see the items that are worth a mirror in the mirror shop. But I'm not looking at them to buy them for a mirror. I'm looking at them to see what nodes are on what bases that may or may not be valuable. For example, this axe, I didn't know I can get fortitude on an axe. I didn't know I can get a lot of these things. And it's just a really good resource if you're trying to figure out what nodes are really good on what type of bases, to just kind of take a look and see what these guys are crafting with and what mirror tier bases have. Because if it's on a mirror tier base, odds are it's going to be on a base that other people want to use. So you can see that there's this node on the lightning arrow bow. This node's really good. This node's really good. And it just kind of gives you an idea of what to look for on your bases. Now, I really think this is a really good research tool. If you have the money to buy the items outright, you should buy the items outright. But a lot of people don't know what to look for in the Crucible, and they don't know what nodes. Same thing with like the Spectral Shield Throw Shield. Node 1 is very expensive. Node 2 is very expensive. Node 4 is very expensive, and this node is not very expensive. So I really encourage you guys to pick a base. I encourage you guys to unveil those trees and just kind of mess around with Crucible, because you could turn something that you were just leaving on the floor into a whole lot of money. And if you guys have seen any of my blight videos, you'll know that blight ravage maps explode I-86 bases. Like, explode I-86 bases. There's also a unique map. I think it's Ubas Trove. I don't remember off the top of my head, but one of the maps, Ubas Curse Trove, this one, also drops a bunch of I-86 bases. Now, I know somebody's going to ask about the Rampage node. From my understanding, the donor base does not need to be 86. Some people tell me it needs to be 86, but if you're going to mess around with Crucible and you're going to try to mutate nodes, I highly suggest taking an 86 node and slamming it into an 86 node. That's going to be your best bet. And just kind of mess around and see what happens. If you manage to hit the Rampage node on a scepter, good God, you're rich. But I've made a ton of currency and a ton of divine just messing around with Crucible, and I just really wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because I don't think a lot of people like the mechanic. I don't think a lot of people know how to make money with the mechanic, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit of the way that I've been doing things. And I mean, you guys can see I have scepters and shields that I've just been like revealing trees on everywhere to just kind of like mess around and kind of hope to God to get a good tree on my Sambar scepter. So just some information that I had that I wanted to share. And if you're successful with it, let me know. If you're not, I'm sorry, I tried. But for now, guys, have a wonderful evening. So long, farewell, and say good luck with your Crucible hunting. And if you get the Rampage node on a scepter. Anyways, so long, friends. See you guys in the next one.